announce at the beginning that we will have 5-minute questioning rounds. I will call on people in order of arrival, and all of the questioners will be in person. We will not have anyone on WebEx. I will begin the questions, and I know it's very recent, but are there any updates that you can give us from Uvalde for what we have found out about the shooter's motivation, I know the reports have been that he acted alone, as you pointed out, but is there any other information that you can share with this committee?
There's really, unfortunately, it's such a fluid situation right now, and I do really want to respect the fact that the Texas DPS has the lead on the investigation, so I don't want to get out in front of them right now. My experience teaches me that in these incidents, the facts change, as we understand them, often quite rapidly in the first few days. So with respect, there's not much I can add right now beyond what's already been reported in the press.
You said in your testimony that one of the biggest threats is and concerns is the threat of lone actors who attack people they don't know indiscriminately. Are there statistics over the years that show that there's been an increasing percentage of those kinds of crimes? And do we have any idea, any research into what is motivating those kinds of lone individuals?
So on the first part, on the statistical side, I don't know that I could quote you statistics right here, but I can definitely tell you that we at the FBI, and I know from my first few months as FBI director, have been highlighting this threat, the lone actors, or effectively lone actors, using readily accessible weapons, attacking what is often referred to as soft targets, which are essentially, as I said in my opening, regular everyday people wherever they're doing their lives. As to what motivates them, that's all over the map. I mean, it's everything from the racially motivated violent extremists to different sorts of anarchists and militia violent extremists, to homegrown violent extremists, which is a term we use to sort of distinguish people who are here already in the U.S., but who are inspired by foreign terrorist organizations like ISIS, like Al-Qaeda. And then increasingly we're seeing people with this kind of weird hodgepodge blend of ideologies. The old school world of kind of people with some purity of radical ideology then turning to violence is often giving way to people who have kind of a jumble of mixed up ideas. And, you know, we've seen cases where somebody 1 month is saying they're an ISIS supporter, and then the next month they say they're a white supremacist. We had a case in Minneapolis where a bunch of guys that described themselves as Boogaloo Boys then ended up deciding to provide material support to Hamas. I look at the El Paso shooter in the Walmart there. If you look at his so-called manifesto, it's all over the place. So we're having more and more challenges trying to unpack what are often sort of incoherent belief systems combined with kind of personal grievances.
Well, and there's no doubt, as you pointed out, that violent crime is increasing. I see that in my home state of New Hampshire. And it seems like over the last couple of years, it's been a reaction to COVID, to the opioid epidemic, to factors, obviously. The availability of weapons is another factor. Are there other things that we're thinking have happened over the last couple of years that have really contributed to the violent crime that we're seeing today?
Well, I would agree with the several that you listed. I would add to that that we are seeing, for a variety of reasons, in some places, way too many of repeat offenders or dangerous offenders ending up back out on the street. Certain prosecution practices or sentences that don't adequately keep somebody behind bars when they really need to be. And I would say that a lot of police departments in this country, if you talk to most chiefs and sheriffs, which, as I said, I'm doing just about every week, most of them are really struggling with recruiting and retention. and that certainly doesn't help. So we need to support the men and women of law enforcement because that's who stands between us and the violent criminal element.
Thank you. Senator